All right, let's dive into one of the most, let's just say, confusing areas you're going to face on the BCBA exam. We're talking B.5, positive versus negative punishment. Seriously, so many people get twisted up on this, but nailing it down is, well, it's non-negotiable. Not just for the exam, but for being a sharp, ethical clinician. So, let's unpack this and make sure it sticks for good.
This is the question. It's the one you're going to get from parents, teachers, everyone on your team almost every single day. We see a behavior that's a real barrier, maybe it's even dangerous. What do? How do we bring that behavior down, but do it in a way that's both effective and ethical? Well, the principles of punishment are our scientific answer to that exact problem. So let's get into the mechanics.
And before we even get to the definitions, let's talk exam strategy. We are pulling this straight from Section B of the task list, concepts and principles. And listen, this isn't just some minor detail. This section is worth a huge 14% of your total score. That's about 24 questions. So getting a grip on this stuff isn't just nice to know. It's a seriously high-yield way to spend your study time. Let's go get those points.
Okay, first things first. Let's lock in the official scientific definition. Punishment is simply a stimulus change that happens after a behavior. But here's the absolute most important part, the part that defines the whole thing. It has to decrease the future frequency of that behavior. If that behavior doesn't go down over time, it's not punishment. End of story. The effect is literally the only thing that matters, not what we intended to do.
And this slide right here, this is what separates a behavior analyst from everybody else. Out in the world, punishment means being mean, or getting even, or being punitive. We have to completely throw that idea out the window. For us, the term is totally neutral. It's defined only by its function, its effect on the behavior. I don't care if the intention was to punish. If the behavior didn't decrease in the future, it wasn't punishment. That's a concept we've got to own.
So, if punishment is all about making a behavior happen less often, how do we actually do it? Well, there are two main roads we can take. Let's start with the first one, positive punishment. The absolute key here, and you can see it right there on the slide, is to think positive equals plus sign. We are adding something to the mix.
Okay, here's the more technical version. It's the presentation or the addition of a stimulus right after a behavior happens. And what's the result we're looking for? A decrease in that behavior over time. You might see this called type I punishment on the exam, but just burn this into your brain. Positive means you present something, you add it in.
Let's make this real. Picture a classroom. A student shouts out an answer. The teacher immediately adds a verbal reprimand, like a firm, "We use quiet voices." Now, if over the next few days that student shouts out less, well, that reprimand acted as a positive punisher. Or a more serious example, say a client engages in self-injury. The BCBA has a plan to implement an overcorrection procedure, which adds a task right after the SIB. If the data shows that self-injury is going down, that's positive punishment in action.
So here's your thought process for exam day. You read a scenario, and you got to ask yourself one simple question. Was something added to the environment right after the behavior happened? Was it a sound, a task, a comment? If the answer is yes, and the behavior decreased later on, you've just spotted positive punishment.
All right, let's move on to path number 2, which flows perfectly from the first. Let's talk about negative punishment. And if you've been following along, you already know where this is going, right? If positive meant addition, then negative has to mean subtraction. Think minus sign. We are taking something away.
The technical definition says it all. It's the termination or the removal of a stimulus that was already there. Sometimes you'll see this called type 2 punishment. So let's lock it in our heads. Negative equals removal. It's as simple as that.
Okay, let's see this one in action. A child is playing and suddenly throws their favorite toy across the room. The consequence? That toy, which is a really good thing, gets removed for 2 minutes. That specific procedure is called response cost. And if, in the future, the toy throwing happens less, we've just seen negative punishment. Here's another classic. A student is being disruptive during circle time. The teacher removes them from that fun group activity. That's a timeout from positive reinforcement. And if the disruptive behavior goes down, well, that's negative punishment at work.
So for the exam, your trigger question is a little different. This time you'll ask yourself, was something the person liked or enjoyed taken away right after the behavior? Did they lose a token? Did they miss out on TV time? Was a toy removed? If the answer is yes, and the behavior decreased, you just nailed a negative punishment question.
Okay,
This is it. This is where the rubber meets the road. Knowing the definitions is one thing, right? But being able to tell them apart instantly and accurately when you're under the pressure of the clock on exam day or when you have to make a split-second clinical decision, that's the real skill we need to build.
This question you see on the slide, this is your magic key. It's the single most important thing you can ask yourself. Forget what you think should have happened or what someone's intention might have been. Just look at the environment. What actually changed in that moment right after the behavior? Was something added or was something taken away? I promise you that one question will cut through 99% of the confusion.
And this slide just lays it all out side by side. Look, the only difference between positive and negative punishment is the how. It's the mechanism. Positive adds, negative removes. That's it. But look at the result. The destination is exactly the same. For both, the behavior's feature frequency goes down. They're just different roads leading to the same destination.
I love this quote from Cooper, Heron, and Hayward because it's so fundamental. It's a reminder that our consequences, whether they're for reinforcement or punishment, are incredibly powerful. We're not just stopping one behavior one time. We are literally changing the probability that an entire class of similar behaviors will happen again. We're actually shaping future repertoires, and that is a huge responsibility.
Now, none of this science matters if we're not thinking about ethics first. Our code is crystal clear, and it's referenced right here in the task list for a reason. Punishment is never, and I mean never, our first move. We are reinforcement-first clinicians. If we even consider using a punishment procedure, we have to have already tried everything else. We have to plan for any possible side effects, and this is the big one. We must be actively teaching and reinforcing a better replacement behavior. We don't just stop behaviors, we build skills.
Okay, let's boil this all down into a simple two-step tool that you can use on any exam question. Step 1. Look at the effect. Did the behavior's future frequency actually go down? If the answer is no, it's not punishment. Stop right there. But if the answer is yes, move on to step 2. Look at the action. Was a stimulus added or was a stimulus removed? That's it. That's the entire decision tree. Follow those 2 steps and you cannot go wrong.
And that really brings us to the final and most important point. Knowing the difference between positive and negative punishment will get you points on the exam, for sure. But the real work, the art and science of being a great behavior analyst, is developing the clinical judgment to decide when, or maybe even if, these procedures are necessary, ethical, and truly in the best interest of your client. That's the work that really matters. Thanks for digging into this with me today.